Welcome back to Tipping Point. I'm your host, Kara McKinney. How to blow up a pipeline. No, that's not part of the charging documents against some eco-terrorist. That is the name of a film that Harvard Law School wants to screen. You know, Harvard, the Ivy League university, which takes terrorism so seriously that they won't allow 99% of conservatives to speak freely on campus, but they're completely fine with Hamas activists and protesters who want to blow up critical U.S. infrastructure being given free rein at the school. Make it make sense. The Daily Wire reports, quote, the film directed by Harvard alumni Daniel Goldhaber will be aired by the law school's Film Society. It grows ideas from Andreas Malm's book with the same name and tells the story of a group of young people blowing up a pipeline as an activism tactic. The film's website includes a take action page on its website with a map of U.S. oil and gas pipelines. Harvard is going beyond simply hosting a screening. Harvard Law School professor John Hanson is moderating a Q&A with the film's director during the event and encourages attendance by all students interested in environmental activism. His website, the Systemic Justice Project, describes the film's plot as a story of a group of activists who execute a daring plan to, you guessed it, blow up a pipeline, end quote. What a wonderful coming-of-age story. But wait, it gets worse. Not only did the FBI, of all agencies, put out a terrorist alert due to the impact this film could have on mentally unstable college kids, but also get a load of this. The article goes on to say, quote, the Daily Wire previously reported that the book that inspired the film is making its way into public universities around the United States and has even required reading in some courses. Its author told the New York Times he would gladly participate in blowing up a pipeline, but has not yet had the opportunity. If I were a part of a group where something like blowing up a pipeline was perceived as a tactic that could be useful for our struggle, then I would gladly participate, he said. I have engaged in as much militant climate activism as I have had access to, and I've done things that I can't tell you or that I wouldn't tell others publicly. Malm openly spoke about his willingness to cause death and destruction during the same interview. It's hard to think that deaths won't become inevitable if there is more sabotage, the interviewer stated. Sure, if you have 1,000 pipeline explosions per year, if it takes on that extreme scale, but we're some distance from that, unfortunately, Malm responded. Don't say unfortunately, the interviewer interjected. Well, I want sabotage to happen on a much larger scale than it does now. I can't guarantee that it won't come without accidents, Malm replied, end quote. Man, I think that speaks for itself. Joining us now to discuss all this and more is Mark Morano, the founder of ClimateDepot.com. Mark, thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you, Kara. I feel like I should have a lit stick of dynamite here ready to, blow up the OAN or something, to go along with your theme. This is truly 2024 has gone nuts with this story you're reporting here about Harvard University.
I mean, it's crazy. This Malm guy's really saying the quiet part out loud, isn't he? Because, usually they say with climate activism, they're trying to save human lives and then make our quality of life better. But here he's just openly saying, no, it's not about that at all. And if people get in the way of it, I guess they have to die.
Yeah, they are. In fact, this man, Andreas Malm, who wrote the book, How to Blow Up a Pipeline, was featured in The New Yorker, has been featured in NPR, public taxpayer-funded radio. And all the reports are sort of like, oh, this is just another tool in the toolkit from the corporate mainstream media. What's interesting is if you go back 20 years, there was a kids movie that was decried by a non-political film critic as soft-core eco-porn for children because it told kids how to destroy property in development in Florida that was going to be destroying the environment. We also had in 2009 NASA's lead global warming scientist, a man named James Hansen, who was then the lead scientist at NASA on climate, get arrested half a dozen times protesting global warming. And he endorsed a book, and the review still stands on Amazon today, where he endorsed a book calling for ridding the world of industrial civilization, leveling cities, blowing up dams. And NASA's lead scientist actually said, the author has it right. We have to turn off the greenhouse gas machine. So all these kids at Harvard are being exposed to what NASA scientists have done, what Hollywood has promoted. And if you look at it from another perspective, what is the Biden administration's net zero and the whole UN net zero? It's about the controlled demolition of our energy, our food supply, and our freedom of movement, transportation, cars, and even cheap plane flights. So in a way, that's, to use Jesse Jackson's phrase from the 80s, economic violence.